hospital. We went in together.
You did so well.
Right, went through triage, the whole thing. All of that was cool.
Yeah.
Went upstairs. This was in the nighttime, so we went into our room. We checked into our room in the hospital.
Yeah.
We were assigned our nurse for the night. And, you know, me being me, I'm just over there. I'm vetting everything.
Yes,
right?
he was. Oh my gosh, he was amazing.
Yeah, I wasn't playing around, man. You know, that's my wife and my child. So I was in that mode. And it was really, 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 really good experience overall. When the morning shift came in, the nurses that came in the morning, ridiculously beautiful staff.
Oh, amazing.
And they were led by a midwife. I won't call her name, but it's someone that I ended up knowing.
He ended up knowing the lady that was delivering our little
crazy,
Baba.
yeah.
Like that was how in sync.
It was level.
Like, how more
it was level.
in
So
sync
what happened is that we started to experience something that was not what we planned for. Obviously, right? We went from having a really, really organized home birth planned out, everything organized to the T, to saying, oh wow, now we have to deliver in an institution.
Yeah.
Completely different vibe, right? But it didn't feel that way once we got there because of, one, the professionalism of the staff. The nurses were excellent. And the second part was when I saw someone that I know who was the midwife walk in the door. I'm not going to tell the whole story of how we realized that we knew each other because we both had on masks. Right? But that was dope. And yeah, so you ended up having a vaginal birth in the hospital, and our son was born. He was a little bit lower weight than what they say
is the
norm for them, but my wife didn't weigh a lot when she was born.
It was
and
genetics. It was absolute genetics. So I don't believe in, I mean, it depends on where you are, where you're born. If you're born in America, what's large compared to what in England is large, or in France. It is
so we don't think that he was low gestational weight. We
Mm.
think he was precisely how he was supposed to be.
Yeah, and
everything worked out because, one, he was born, nothing was wrong with our son, and two, we made sure that we took his placenta.
Yes.
Take a placenta from the institution.
And another thing, as well as the placenta that we managed to take, was that our intention when we found out that I was pregnant and was going through our natural birth process, I still managed to continue and have a natural birth in many sense, which was very, 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 very important for me, because it's sticking to what you truly wanted, and that's what kind of upset me a lot when I found out I needed to go to the hospital. But I managed to speak with we managed to speak with the midwife and basically do a lot of to keep a lot of my go through my contractions as much as I could at home. So I stayed at home. So I labored at home for a long time.
Until you were dilated about 5 centimeters.
About 5 centimeters. I stayed at home. So that was no medication, just literally going through each contraction, which were very spread out, and again over 48 hours. But again, that I used a lot of my yoga and my yoga sounds and just breathing exercises and watermelon and what we previously spoke about. And then going into the hospital institution.
I would go on record as to say I think you had an orgasmic birth.
It was definitely an orgasmic birth. I had moments where I was literally had my hands on your shoulders and I was just making sounds every time those contractions were coming. And I remember your mom, there was so much people that were just like, what is she doing? And breathing to it, and the midwife was just like, what? And then after, so that helped a lot. It was healing almost every time I was going
so
through
fellas, psycho moment number 2. in the middle of actually pushing our son
I know
out.
what he's gonna say.
She stops and she looks up at me and does this.
I smile because I knew
and
you
goes
was taking
right
a
back
picture.
into. Huh?
I knew you was taking a picture of me, so before I did my push, I needed to make sure I got a good, I had to make sure the picture looked good.
Push. And breathe. Breathe. Take a deep breath.
Well done, babe. Reset.
head yet?
Yeah, when you push, we see the top of his head.
Oh,
Got a lot of hair.
Look good.
Cycle number 2 in the whole process. I was like, yo, the bells is going off.
I noticed that was so uncommon when I seen all the midwives' faces drop.
Yeah.
Like they were literally about to tell me to push, and I looked up and that was.
So that was a beautiful moment.
A beautiful
to
moment.
see my wife
It's because
pushing
she
our
was
son
there
out.
as well. That's what was beautiful to see, to look up and see that you were there, and you literally held my hand from the beginning when you were telling me about my nutrients. Like I was on a sugar
It wasn't
ban.
even like it wasn't even like a choice thing. We knew that in order for our son to have the best start in life physically, that we had to make certain sacrifices.
Absolutely.
So we cut out all unnatural sugars whatsoever. We did have fruit sugars in the form of fruit, of course, and we had some agave from time to time.
Yes.
But no cane sugar, no white sugar, brown sugar, any of that stuff, no products with it either.
No.
And we
Had my
kept that
hemp
cold
milk
for
every
9 months.
morning.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful experience overall.
Yeah.
It was just
And
that
all the way throughout the labor, it was literally no medication.
Right.
So going all the way, even when we got to the hospital, it wasn't a matter of, okay, we're gonna have these herbs and make sure
she
that
didn't take any pain medicine.
all the way through until he was literally in my hands. There was no.
You did so good, man. He's here.
I didn't know I could do it. That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't know I could do it. I'm not. Oh my goodness! But when you have the right foods and nutrition in your body, you surprise yourself with the amount of energy that you can have.
And you get initiated into the Mama's Club, right? By going through it in a certain way. And this is not to exclude all the empresses that have to have cesareans for whatever reason, because that's also entrance into the Mama's Club. But there's something that happens when you go through that labor process and you birth vaginally that can't be replaced as far as the connection, with your child. And your strength was admirable. Big up yourself.
Thanks,
Yeah, so all right. So transitioning now. We talked about the rough patch that we went through and how we rose through it.
Yeah.
And like I said, we took our placenta home. I'm saying that for the second time. Make sure that you take your child's placenta home, and we could talk to you about what to do with it if you need instruction.
Yeah.
Now, what else you want to talk about in regards to the pregnancy, postpartum? Is there anything you want to share with the sisters?
I mean, the main thing I would want to share with the sisters is that there's a lot of curiosity when it comes to having a natural birth and eating alkaline or vegan. I told. As in, there's a lot of questions that people. Hopefully, we've answered a few from my experience, but there's a lot of, I would say, negativity or fear as to, will my baby get enough protein? Will they get enough iron? Is there enough fats in the food? Or how much energy? Or maybe you need to eat meat in order for the baby to get all these, the curiosity of it. They're all myths
and misinformation. Right? We dispelled all the lies.
And I can just literally say from my experience, some of it could be, due to genetics, but a lot of it was food when it comes to
nutrition, and that's where the nausea comes from a lot of the time, is because you didn't eat.
I hadn't eaten,
and then we had to learn a schedule. So you were eating before 10 o'clock in the morning, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and again by around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. That's when you would have your meal again, and then we'll snack. Healthy snacks in the evening.
Do you see how much he was involved?
Yeah, it was
can
a
you
regimen.
hear it? It's amazing. As a woman, I can honestly say that's something that I do not sleep on. I am so grateful for. When you can have a king that sits beside you and knows exactly what time that you should be eating for you and your unborn child at that moment, it's amazing to me. That's something that... Here's Abba. See? Look how he plays with you. Look how he plays with you. Look. Yes, whoa. It's like I could never take for granted. That's amazing, babe. He's stood all the way till when I'm about to see our child for the first time. That's why when I looked up at you, Zeb, and smiled, it was it was emotionally amazing for me. It was so real.
Yeah, so I think that about summed up most of the questions and everything, right?
Yeah, I
Right.
really hope so.
So, listen, family, if you have any questions, go ahead and like, subscribe, and definitely leave your comments inside of the comment section. And we're definitely going to continue to make some more. You hear the booby monster?
Yeah, let me go and get him.
Y'all hear the booby monster in the background? But yeah, we're about to sign off.
Yes.
Here's
Thanks
to you.
for watching. Definitely subscribe and let us know if you have any questions. Okay, so to be specific, I didn't experience any morning sickness, any cravings, any mood swings. I didn't get any stretch marks. I managed to go through my whole pregnancy and also my labor without any medication. The whole negativity on putting on dramatic amount of weight, that wasn't the case for me. I'm in my third week just about, and I'm back in my fitted skirts and still getting there, but I've managed to, I haven't put on dramatic weight. Also, just energy wise, I was still mopping at 39 weeks during my contractions as well, and my energy was just very much up. And just the lack of sleep, that wasn't an experience for us after. Also, with Baba being here, we have him on a very good schedule and we get to have sleep by ourselves. So there's a lot of things that's positive that came with my pregnancy I wanted to share with you.